Hi, I'm Rochelle Clark. You may have read my articles in Forbes or in other publications. I help businesses to protect their operations by using business continuity plans, and I help to prepare owners to transition the business from the owner to the successor by focusing on their communication and preparation. If you're sitting there anxious about your retirement as a business owner, then you are in the right place. In today's Retirement for Business Owners Masterclass, we discover 5 things that you need to know in order to use your business to provide for yourself and your family after you retire. But first of all, before we get started, let's bust 3 myths so that we can start with a clear mind. Myth number 1, retirement is one long holiday spent traveling around the world. Now, to be quite honest, you are going to have the freedom and flexibility to live the life that you would like, but the amount of your enjoyment will depend on your level of retirement savings. Myth number 2, you will retire at your designated retirement age. Now, in reality, your retirement may actually come sooner than you expect, and this can be due to tiredness, illness, or changing priorities. Maybe you have grandkids, maybe you have a new passion in your life, so retirement could actually come earlier than you expect. And myth number 3, you can always just sell the business. Now, this one gives me the shudders because in reality, this may not be as possible as you think. We'll bust this myth later on in the presentation. Now, I'll give you as much information as possible, but if you need more information, access to resources, or personal one-on-one guidance, then I invite you to join our Retirement for Business Owners course, which is much longer and gets into more depth and more detail. And of course, participants in this masterclass receive a special rate, so stay tuned. Okay, let's get started. The 5 things that you need to know to use your business for retirement peace of mind. The first thing is know your path. And for this one, let's do a little bit of role play. So for those of you joining us on YouTube, feel free to comment in the comment section below. For those of you who are not on YouTube, you can feel free to write down your response to this one. Now, let's imagine that you're sitting across from me in my office. Okay, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, you are considering retirement. What are your plans for your business? Here's where I want you to write your response. What are your plans for the business? Okay, it's not a quiz, but let's see where you stand versus other business owners. If you're like 35% of business owners, you have absolutely no idea what you're going to do with this business after you retire. And that's fine. That's why you're here. If you're like 29% of business owners, you intend to transfer the business to a family member. If you're like 25% of business owners, you intend to sell. And if you're like 11% of business owners, you intend to close up the business and go off and enjoy your life. All of these plans are fine, but let's see what your chances of success are with each of them. Now, 30% of you will succeed in transferring the business to a family member. 25% of you will successfully sell your business. The 11% who said that they were planning on closing shop, 100% of you will actually close, and it's actually going to be more than the 11% of you who said that you are intending to close. Because remember that big bucket of 35% who didn't know what they were doing with the business. The majority of those and many others will actually end up closing down the business. And this is due to a number of reasons. We'll get into the roadblocks in the next section. But what I want you to know is that if you don't know, ultimately that decision gets made for you. And most times it ends up with the closure of the business. Now, there are other options which we explore in the Retirement for Business Owners course, but these are by far the most common. So join us in the course if you would like to know more. Step 2. Anticipate and avoid roadblocks. We'll talk about the roadblocks for when it comes to selling or transferring a business. And here's a dirty secret that many of you don't know. As business owners, many of you believe that your business is sellable. You can just sell it whenever you wish. But the very harsh reality is that many businesses are not in a sellable condition. The majority of businesses are not sellable. Owners don't find this out until they attempt to sell. But don't take my word for it. Here is Nunzio Presta from Bizon, which is an online platform that buys and sells businesses. He'll give the top 3 roadblocks for when it comes to selling a business.
Hi, my name is Nunzio Presta, and I'm the founder and CEO of BizOn. We've connected thousands of buyers and sellers and have discovered the top 3 reasons why most businesses don't sell. 1, the seller has a bloated or unrealistic valuation and an asking price they can't defend. 2, the seller isn't open to some sort of transition period. And 3, the business has unorganized financials. Remember, a buyer isn't buying your business for today. They're buying it for future opportunities. So prepare, plan, and be clear on why someone should buy your business.
Okay, we've heard from Nunzio on the roadblocks to selling, but what are you up against when you attempt to transfer your business to a family member? And make no mistake, I believe that when it comes to peace of mind in your retirement, transferring the business from an owner to someone in their family may be the best way to go. And I say that because it ultimately comes down to control. If you have control of the business, then you're more likely to have the flexibility to use the business to meet your needs during retirement. But of course, you make the right decision for you based on your circumstances. Now, what are the roadblocks that you will face when it comes to transferring your business? And this is an opportunity that I would love to hear from you in the comment section, or make a personal note if you're at home. What do you think the number 1 roadblock is when it comes to transferring your business from an owner to someone in your family? And we'll start with roadblock number 3 so that you have some time to write those down. Roadblock number 3, 15% of businesses will fail because of poor advice. And this is poor legal advice, poor accounting advice, poor financial advice. 15% will fail because of that. That's roadblock number 3. Roadblock number 2 is inadequate preparation of the successor. 25% of businesses will fail because the successor was not adequately prepared for the role. Now, you've had a chance to write, what do you think the number 1 roadblock is when it comes to trying to transfer your business from an owner to someone in the family? The number 1 roadblock that affects 60% of businesses is communication. 60% of businesses, communication. Poor communication and trust. And this comes down to conversations that are not had, conversations that are had but a little bit too late, and of course just the interpersonal dynamics. So 60% of businesses will fail because of communication. Wow. Now that we know the roadblocks, what can we do about them? Step 3, know the signs and know where to get help. Ultimately, it comes down to your team. You need to have the right professionals around you in order to execute either a sale or a transfer of your business. Now, when it comes to transferring the business, I'd like you to consider them your Fab 5. Your Fab 5 as an easy way for you to remember the 5 professionals that you need to have in your corner to ensure a smooth transition from owner to someone in the family. Now, we won't be able to go into depth on the role of each person, how to choose them, or when to call on them. We do that in the Retirement for Business Owners course when we have much more time together. But as a rule of thumb, I want you to remember these 5 roles that you need to have at a minimum in your corner when you attempt to transfer the business. Write this down. Role number 1, your family business advisor. This is the person that puts long-term plans in place for your business, keeping the needs of your family in mind. If they also specialize in communication, then they're usually able to unlock for you any of the interpersonal communication issues that may come up. Role number 2, your financial or your wealth advisor. This is the person that advises you on your personal financial situation in retirement and your ability to meet your retirement needs. Roles number 3 and 4, your accountant and your lawyer. I think it goes without saying that as a business in operation, you have access to a good accountant and lawyer. In this case, you definitely want to ensure that they have a review of any of the agreements that are put into place. And last but not least, you will need very good insurance advice. This is the team that you need to have at a minimum to help you successfully and smoothly transition your business from the owner to someone in your family. Now, I want you to give me a thumbs up and a high 5 for your Fab 5 team. Step 4, protect your operations. Now remember myth 2 that we spoke about at the very beginning of this session? The fact that retirement may come a whole lot earlier than you expect. This is for the exact reason that you need to ensure that you have the right protections in place for your business, because the unplanned absence of an owner can really wreak havoc on a business, as the remaining members of the family or business are left really trying to figure out how to keep the business in operation. And I know this from my own personal experience. So what I would say is, yes, ensure that you have good insurance, but insurance provides a payout. You also need to ensure that you have a good business continuity plan, because that provides an actionable plan to ensure that the business remains in operation. So step 4, ensure that your business is protected with insurance and a business continuity plan. In the Retirement for Business Owners course, we go in depth in these topics as well as a number of others, including funding your transfer so that you can make a more informed decision. The course is now available for pre-order at www.retirementforbusinessowners.com, and participants in this masterclass receive a special price for pre-registering. If you need more information, access to resources, and personal one-on-one attention, then the Retirement for Business Owners course is the one that you would like to join, and we invite you to join us. Step 5, know when to start. This step is about timing. When is it too early? When is it too late? Now, it all depends on the complexity of your business, but it would be very unfair to expect a successor to understand all of the nuances of your business in a very short period of time in order to take over and be effective in his or her role. So for this reason, it's very important for you to ensure that you have enough time to prepare for transitioning the business to a successor, or of course, for selling the business if that is your decision. Now, let's do some simple math. When it comes to transferring your business to a successor, when is a good time for you to really start this planning? Now, if you have a successor in mind, I would like you to, and you can get your pen and paper out here, or do some quick math in your head. If you have a successor in mind, I want you to take the number of years that it would take that successor to complete their formal education. To that number, let's add about 2 to 3 years for them to get some outside experience. And then to that number, let's add about 3 years or so, depending again on the complexity of your business, about 3 to 5 years for them to really understand your business in order to take it over. That number that you get at the end should give you a rule of thumb or a quick math for you to understand how much time it would take for you to prepare your successor to take over this role. As a result, this is probably the time that you should really start putting plans in place for transferring your business to your successor. Now remember, helping a business owner also helps their family. If you found this information valuable, feel free to share it. And if you need more information, join us in the Retirement for Business Owners course, www.retirementforbusinessowners.com. Pre-order now for your special rate.